Hi, I'm Ina from GoGetGlobal.com. Follow our free lessons on Facebook, participate and leave comments, and you'll have a chance to win free personalized Skype session with me. I will give you more information later. But today, let me ask you these questions. Have you ever been to an English-speaking country? If so, when did you go? If you noticed, in these questions I used both the simple past and the present perfect. Today we'll discuss the difference between using these two when we talked about past actions. So in general, we use the simple past when we talk about situations or events that started and finished in the past and they have no connection to the present at all. Very often we use time-specific words with the past simple. For example, we can use words like yesterday, 2 months ago, last year, in 1990, etc. So the specific time word will always be together with the simple past. On the other hand, we use the present perfect when we talk about situations or events that started in the past but have a connection to the present or are still happening in the present. For example, I have lived in Spain for 5 years. So this event started 5 years ago and I'm still living in Spain. So I have lived in Spain for 5 years. Let me tell you about one difference when we talk about the duration. For example, we could use preposition for and talk about the duration with the simple past. However, this action will no longer be connected to the present situation. For instance, I lived in Canada for 20 years. So I talk about the duration, but this is the action or the situation that happened in the past. I then moved to other countries and I no longer live in Canada. So I lived in Canada for 20 years. This is the simple past. And I have lived in Spain for 5 years. So this situation again started 5 years ago and is still connected to now because I am still living in Spain now. With the present perfect, we often use prepositions since and for. So this is a good indicator that you need to use the present perfect. Just like if you use the specific time word, yesterday, 2 years ago, in 1990, it's a good indicator that you need to use the past simple. We often use words like just or yet or ever, never, already with present perfect. We use the word just to describe very recent events. For example, I have just had my breakfast. So it just happened. It's very recent event. When we use words like yet or already, ever, never, we refer to situations that possibly haven't happened yet, but they might happen in the future, or they happened in the past and still have a connection to the present. For example, I haven't done my homework yet, but I might do it later. I have never been to Africa, but I might visit later. Let's briefly remember the structure. For past simple, we use ed for regular verbs and we use the second participle for the irregular verbs. And for present perfect, we use have or has for the third person plus second participle. Remember to simplify for the pronunciation, we can say I've instead of I have or she's instead of she has, for example. Let's analyze some specific cases to contrast these two tenses. So, for instance, I lived in Canada for 20 years. It's a past event and there is no connection to the present because I don't live in Canada anymore. Whereas I've lived in Spain for 5 years is connected to the present situation because I'm still living in Spain. I went to Paris in 2009, so I'm using a specific time word here, specific time in 2009, so I'm using past simple. And in contrast, I've been to Paris 4 times. I don't specify exactly when I went, so I can use present perfect here. I've become fluent in Spanish since I moved to Barcelona in 2012. So in the first part of the sentence, I'm talking about an experience or a change that has happened to me. I can use present perfect here. And then I moved to Barcelona in 2012, again with a specific time word. I'm using past simple. It's important to keep in mind the difference between these two tenses when you are in an interview situation or in an official exam situation, when you're being asked questions about your past experience or past events. Pay attention to the questions. For example, in the job interview situation, the interviewer might ask you, have you ever held a similar position? So in this case, they're not referring to a specific date or specific event in the past. They just want to know in general if you have had a similar experience up to now. So you could answer, yes, I have. I have worked as a manager before. When I worked for a company A in 2005, I managed teams and I developed training plans. So here you started making references to a specific company and a specific time in the past, in 2005. Therefore, you needed to use the simple past. So now it's your turn. Tell me about the best job you have ever had and when did you work there? Participate in our free lessons, leave your comments and feedback for your chance to win free personalized Skype session with me. I will give you more information later. Thank you for learning with us. I hope you enjoyed this lesson and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.